Hey, thanks for joining me today. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, I want to give you guys my 8-month review or update on the Spyderco Para 3. As you can see, it's been upgraded, so it's not going to be the stock Para 3 that you get. But this is the Maxamet edition. So Spyderco does something really awesome in that they like to experiment with different blade steels. And so, and they'll kind of roll that out in certain of their platforms or certain models. And so the Para 3 is like one of those platforms that they like to try different steels in. And so this is the Maxamet version of that. And so I'll talk, I did do a more kind of an in-depth video talking about Maxamet, so you could check that video out if you're kind of interested about the steel and how it kind of performs. But really, I just kind of want to focus on the knife and how my experience has been just as an everyday user. As you can see, just real quick, I did swap out, this did come with the gray G10 scales. I swapped it out with the Flytanium titanium scales. What that did is it did add a little bit more weight to this. I'll go ahead and post up the kind of the specs of this knife, up there or up here, but it does make this knife a little bit more heavier, and I like that because it feels a little bit more substantial in the hand. So one of my everyday kind of care philosophies is that when I do have a small knife like the Para 3, I do like to do something to it to kind of make it a little bit more substantial in the hand, whether I add a little bit more weight to it or I add a little bit more girth to the handle, whatever it may be. So that's why I went with these titanium scales. Just as an FYI, if you're gonna take apart the Para 3 or even its big brother, the Paramilitary 2, I just gotta caution you that it's gonna take time and it's a heartache, guys. Yeah, it really is. It took me, and no joke, it took me about 2-3 hours to do that, mainly because when you get the knife from factory, the lanyard tube is designed, the design of the lanyard tube, that it flares out into the scale. So even if you like unscrew the body screws and the pivot screw, that lanyard tube is like really seated just very securely, very deeply in there, and then it has that flare out. So you have to like really play with it to kind of shimmy it out. I ended up just really messing up my lanyard tube. I scratched it up, dinged it up, and also I didn't want to snap the G10 scale, so I had to be super careful. That's why it took so long. So please, just warning you guys, if you're thinking about doing it, give yourself a lot of time, be patient. Do some breathing exercises, relax, enjoy the process, because if you're like me, I almost got my mallet and smashed this knife to bits. All right. Anyways, moving on. Just after, I've been carrying and using this knife for about 8 months now. And so after all this time, I feel like the best way to kind of characterize this knife is it's a small knife that has a cutting power that punches way above its weight class. It is a small knife. Like I said, I'm gonna put up the specs, and the size and all that. Yeah, it is a relatively small knife, and so even though it is a small knife, I feel like it's been an amazing slicer. And really reason being is you have that full flat grind, and then you got that crazy Maxamet tool steel that holds an edge for like ever, man. This thing is like not from planet Earth. I think it's from like, I don't know, man, the Marvel universe or something, something like Tony Stark would like invent. It's just like in the 8 months of carrying and using this knife, I haven't had to sharpen it once. Well, I did have to sharpen it just a tidbit because the tip right here, I was cutting through cardboard and it hit a metal staple real hard, so it did kind of roll. So I did sharpen it up, and actually it sharpened up relatively quickly, which surprised me because this is such an incredibly hard steel. You know, I was hearing that, you know, that it's really hard to sharpen, that it's very brittle, that it will chip and break. In my personal experience, I haven't experienced that yet, knock on wood. But as you can see, there's a really nice kind of patina forming. You know, it's just, yeah. So if you're into that, if you're into kind of patina, into kind of having your knife kind of age with you as you use it, I feel like, you know, this Maxamet steel is perfect for that. The only thing is that you do have to wipe it down and make sure that you do keep it dry, because it is more prone to rust and it's not as corrosion resistant as other steels out there. Anyways, moving on. One thing that I will give it a knock for, and I think this kind of is Spyderco in general, is because they have to accommodate that Spidey hole. You're always gonna typically get a hump, you know, and so what that means is that when you have it in the pocket, that hump is gonna take up some real estate in your pocket, you know. I mean, it's not like a huge deal. It's not a deal breaker for me because I love Spyderco and I love how effective and easy to use the Spidey hole is. I feel like it's one of the best like inventions out there for knives. You know, it's just really just comfortable. You don't have like the thumb stud digging into the meat of your thumb and whatnot. It's just really comfortable. But yeah, that's the thing. You're just gonna have this hump and you're just gonna have to kind of deal with it. So when you have it in the pocket, like so, you know, it might not like sit very flush. It might sit a little awkward in the pocket. Yeah, but other than that, that's really, yeah, that's not that big of an issue. But the thing, the area that this knife really shines in, I would say, is, oh, there's a couple. First of all, it's a very comfortable knife to hold and to use. I could use this knife for hours. And really, you know, it's obvious, right? You got the nice kind of curves and swells in all the right places. It's all rounded up. So it's very filling in the palm of your hand. It feels very natural. It feels like this knife was really engineered for the hand, you know? And I feel like Spyderco does that very, very well. Like most of their knives are really engineered for your hand, which makes sense, right? Because, you know, you're using it with your hands, and it's just, yeah, it's incredibly comfortable. It's a joy to use, whether I'm kind of gripping it like this, like the hammer grip, or I'm using that forward finger choil. I tend to use the pinch grip when I'm cutting through boxes or when I'm preparing food. It gives me a lot of that precise kind of control. And so, yeah, in every kind of grip, it feels very comfortable. This is like the scary grip. I forgot what it's called. This grip, even this kind of I don't even know what this grip is called. It's fairly comfortable. I mean, you kind of feel the clip when you're doing this, but yeah, like the clip, I don't feel like when I'm using the knife, like so, I don't feel the clip. I feel like the clip it's not really a hot spot for me. I do have small to medium sized hands, but I feel like maybe if you have large or extra large mitts, you know, maybe it might feel a little bit more cramped, but for me, it's just absolutely perfect. Second thing that this knife really shines in, I did already mention the cutting. The cutting power is just off the charts. You know, I mean, I think you got that full flat grind, so that alone I think lends itself to being a great slicer. But then when you have like a Maxamet steel on there, where you have this incredibly hard steel, you know, you don't have to sharpen this edge, you know, all that often. Like I said, in the 8 months of carrying it, I haven't had to sharpen it once. You know, it's remained incredibly sharp. I could still do like S curves on a piece of paper. It slices through cardboard like a laser beam, and I've been super impressed with the steel. The only thing is, because it is an extremely harsh steel, just don't try to get it dulled too much, because I feel like if you dull it too much and you try to sharpen it up, it might take a lot of time, a lot of work. So, you know, I'd say do more like touch-up sharpening. Just, you know, try to keep that edge nice and sharp, working sharp, you know. Yeah, this one is still sharp. It still catches on my fingernails, no problem. Another area that this knife really shines in that I've loved is just that compression lock, man. If you ever experienced a compression lock, you know how fun it is. You know, you don't just get like a rock solid like locking mechanism, but you have a very fun locking mechanism. I could do this all day. I could thumb flick it, I could middle finger flick it, I could, you know, do the Spidey drop. I could just do a slow roll, and it's just such a fun knife to just open and close, open and close, open and close. And man, my wife hates it, you know, and so wife, if you're watching this, I apologize, but it's such an addictive action. But yeah, and I just love the sound that it makes too. I think the sound, the acoustics, I would like to call it, is very tingy, and I think it's more because of these titanium scales. When I had the G10 scales on here, it didn't have like that metallic sound, but I feel like with these titanium scales, it kind of gives it like that resonant kind of metallic acoustic. Let me shut up for a minute so you could hear it. See how when it closes, it makes that resonating, tingy, metallic sound? Yeah, it's really addictive. Moving on, I've heard, you know, some people complain about that pocket clip, and how it rides high in the pocket. Yes, it does ride high in the pocket. So it'll have about this much showing up out of your pocket. That's not really an issue for me. I feel like it helps. It gives me, you know, that purchase to kind of, you know, slide it out of the pocket in a pinch. And, you know, it's not a big deal for me. And I feel like the way the pocket clip is situated, I don't have any hot spots in the hand. Let me see what else. Yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, this is broken in so well. Look at that. It just drop shuts. It's such a smooth, just fun knife to just fidget with. It's a very high fidget rating, no doubt. So with that being said, you know, if you're kind of looking, you know, you may be on the fence, you're wondering if this is a good knife for you, man, I really, really recommend it. If you're looking for a knife that's comfortable, that cuts extremely well, and has a rock solid locking mechanism, and is a great company. I feel like the Spyderco Para 3, you cannot go wrong with it. And like I said, they have different blade steels that they play around with, so you could get this in their S30V, S35VN, M390, K390. So what have you. I feel like this is a knife nut's dream, you know, because there's just so many flavors out there for you. You know, you have, you know, camo handles, you got black G10, you got gray, you got green. I mean, there's so many different color scales out there. There's so many different aftermarket parts out there for this knife. And so I feel like this is an awesome platform for just, you know, just someone that just wants a solid knife that just works and works, feels good in the hand, and is backed by a rock solid company that's been in this industry for so long, and they know what they're doing. So with that being said, you know, man, if you have any questions, any comments, you know, I would love to hear them. You can leave them down below. Thanks so much for watching, and you guys have a great day. Bye.